turn off Wi-Fi and then it got good enough signal to connect. Hey YouTube, and welcome to a video that is not Let's Talk. Kind of. This is not scripted, more off the wall like Let's Talk is. I am walking somewhere. But the big thing of this is, for the past maybe 2 years, I've been kind of thinking of different ideas for videos I could do that would be simple, but also really convey how crazy and strange I can be at times. Because I feel like a lot of my YouTube videos end up being conservative and not as strange and crazy. But there are some that are out there, like the calculator. If you haven't seen that, go look it up. It's definitely worth your time. It didn't take me long to make, but it's definitely a pretty well-polished video. I like the results. And it's one of the crazy ones. Or like the mini one and how it started cooking episode. Go watch that one. In it, what I'm doing is I take a beef and bean chimichanga out of the freezer and I warm it up. And then I put on some guacamole. And I put on some bacon. And then some vanilla ice cream. It was actually really good. I liked it. My mom and my real dad liked it. So I know that's just 3 people, but I do have some strange other things that turned out good that people like the watermelon peanuts, or you can go check out 90 Free Cookies. The recipe is on my Google site. Yeah. There are a lot of strange and crazy things that I come up with, especially the random things that I say every once in a while, just out of the blue. So what I'm going to do is, I just wanted to share a story with you guys that I came up with a few nights ago when I was in the bathroom, getting ready for bed. Excuse me. It's definitely a strange and a crazy story, and this is probably not going to be exactly the same as that one was. A lot of the core details are still there, and I was actually a little bit hesitant about sharing this with you guys. I don't know exactly why. I guess a small part of this is along the lines of, what if it ends up being like the most embarrassing thing I've ever said? But I don't really get embarrassed, like, at all. There's maybe once or twice where I think back to when I was young and I was embarrassed, but I'm not worried about getting embarrassed by this. But it's definitely not one of the best stories I've ever come up with. Ew. It's like cupcakes. It's like a flattened, yeah, it's like the lid to a plastic cupcake container, and there's like, if it was a green frosting, but I don't know if it went moldy. Anyways, so, actually, really quickly though, I was walking across this street here years and years ago, like when I was 12 or something. I was going to I think I was coming home from my aunt's house from piano lessons, and this car drives by, and all of a sudden, it looked like something flew off the front of their car, but I'm pretty sure they checked it out of the window because it wouldn't stay on very long. But I didn't stop to look what it is. It's a busy road. But as I was biking across the street when it was my turn to go, I smelled it, and it smelled like 7-layer bean dip. Yeah. So anyways, let's get on with this this story. Completely made up story. Huh. That tree looked like a cactus for a second there. So it's a completely made up story. I'm going to be telling it from first person viewpoint. And, let's, see what you guys think. I'm hoping to kind of just take some of my craziness and share it with you guys. Anyways. So, I was out on vacation on Hawaii with my wife. We've been married about a year or so, and we had a good honeymoon, very nice, traveling out to some of the states in the U.S. But then we thought, why don't we just take one more vacation, and then get into the swing of things, having kids and stuff. And that's basically why we're out here. And so while we were out here, though, we got 2 rental vehicles. We got a car and then a motorcycle. So the car, she would get to use it unless we're both going somewhere, then I would drive. And the motorcycle, that was kind of for me. I've kind of wanted to ride a motorcycle. I'm not anything daredevilish or whatever, just be a nice motorcycle rider. But also, the motorcycle was a little bit cheaper than renting another car. And so this way we'd have 2 separate vehicles in case we did want to go split up and do separate things. Which is actually kind of what we're doing right now. She was back at the hotel, kind of doing some relaxing stuff, reading some magazines. I don't know exactly what she's doing right now. But I wanted to go scuba diving to a nearby beach that was maybe 2 miles away from the hotel. And so she's like, yeah, all right, go ahead and have fun. I'm going to stay here. So I'm out at the beach scuba diving, and I'm under the water, and I see something a little bit strange. As I swim closer, it is a pair of pajamas. And the closer I get, the more they look just like a pair of pajamas that I used to have. And it's weird. This is kind of weird. Why would there be the same pair of pajamas that I had? You know, like, why would somebody even come to the beach in pajamas? Seriously, I don't know. But there they were in the water. And so when I swam up to them and I picked them up, kind of look at them, because, you know, I lost that pair of pajamas. And I'm looking at them, I noticed the tag, and there is a signature on the tag. These are also relatively good condition for being underwater. But on the little tag that tells you who made it, like how to wash it and stuff, there is a signature on there. And I still don't know to this day why, but for whatever reason, my wife signed her name onto my pair of pajamas, and that is her signature on there. And I'm like, what? And so what happened with my pajamas is, it was about 2 months ago. We live out in, like, Texas. And a tornado came along, and it was one of our windows to the house just happened to be open in our bedroom, and it wasn't close enough that it did a lot of damage to the house. You know, the neighbors got more damage. I feel sorry for them. We helped them kind of pick things up a bit, but it was close enough that it sucked a few things out the window, including my pajamas. I was just outside of my bedroom walking in, you know, and I saw pajamas. There they went out the window. So here's my pajamas in the bottom of the water in Hawaii, and it is weird. So as I'm admiring them, and I'm like totally taking these with me, this is so cool. And then there's this other lady who's scuba diving nearby. She starts coming closer. She's kind of big, heavy set, like Tongan, maybe Samoan. I'm not exactly sure, you know. But she comes closer, and then she just starts punching me. Like, I don't know why, but she's just punching me. And I try and swim away, but she's actually a pretty good swimmer. And so I motion with my hands pointing upward, and both of us swim up to the top, and we take off our scuba diving stuff so that we can talk to each other. And she starts yelling at me, and she says that I shouldn't take stuff from the bottom of the ocean. It's there for a reason, a purpose. It's ocean treasure that shouldn't be touched. Leave it alone. Kind of like, almost like it was taboo kind of a thing, like curses would come upon me. I don't know why, but she left it down there. And so then I'm starting to, and so then I'm like, whoa, okay, look. I explained to her what those actually were. Those were my pajamas, and it was strange. She kind of didn't believe me, kind of did believe me, but she still didn't want me touching them at all, and she was not happy that I did that. Like, it's there for a reason. Don't touch it. And then all of a sudden this big fish comes along, and the fish comes along and eats the pajamas, and then it starts choking on them and it dies. And this was actually a really, really big fish, like a big tuna. And really quickly, I just want to say, not part of the story, guys, but that guy was kind of pointing to me, you know, looking at me, wondering probably what I was doing, maybe thought I was live streaming or something. He looked like Casey Neistat, but I'm here in Utah, and it's definitely not Casey Neistat. Anyways, so back to the story. So after the fish dies, then she kind of changes her mind about it. And in there, I kind of even explained to her that pajamas weren't meant to be in the ocean in the first place. And so they're not treasure or anything down there. And it's better to clean up areas. Because she was like full on, if you found a plastic 6-pack ring, that you should leave it there. Because it was there for a reason. It was like the gods ended that, whatever it was, up in the ocean for a reason. So with the fish dead, we pull it out of the water, because I still kind of want my pajamas. So we pull it on the beach and let it sit there for a minute. And then she kind of, thinks about it, and, and she's like, I'm sorry for punching you, and I can see your point of view. I don't know. And it was just part of tradition and some of the things that she was raised with, so I wasn't super angry at her, at all. I totally understand people being raised a certain way and then growing up and, believing things that aren't completely true. I get that. So then we turn to the task of like getting my pajamas out of the fish. And she also mentions that, she happens to know a really good fish recipe. And, we could like set up a little fire over here and cook the fish up on the beach and eat it. And I think that sounds like a great idea. It sounds kind of fun. What else are we going to do? It's a fish, and we know where it came from, so we don't worry too much about getting sick off of it. And so she starts working on the fish and getting my pajamas out. And I call my wife up. Basically, I tell her that there's this nice lady I met, Samoan, and we're going to have some food on the beach. She's going to cook it. And there's something really strange. Not bad, but strange. And she should come over. And she's like, yeah, okay. Food sounds good. I was getting a little bit hungry. I'll be over in a minute, honey. So she gets to the beach. And I explain what's going on. And I show it to her. And she's like, wait. Yeah, that's my signature. Oh, my goodness. How did tornado carry them this far? And I don't know, maybe the tornado, got them a ways away and then some other storm picked them up or something. I don't know which. Oh. Okay, I'm going to interject in the story. This is not part of the story. This is real life. But there was actually I found a package in our backyard, and it was just one of those brown plasticky type bags that you mail stuff in, and it felt like there was some kind of a dress or a shirt, some kind of light clothing item in there, and I think there was a recent wind and that's how it got blown away, and it actually went to somebody that I kind of sort of know, and so I walked it over to their house. Okay, back to the story. So she's gotten the fish mostly prepared, and then she says that she's gonna go up. She's going to go back to her car in the parking lot and then just go a couple of blocks away to a convenience store and get a few things, some spices and stuff, a few other things, and of course some stuff to make a fire with. So that's what she does. She goes down to the convenience store. She's gone 20, maybe 30 minutes, comes back, has a nice fire going really quickly and, preps the fish up and it's cooking. Things are going nice. We get to talking, find out more about each other, where we're from, and the evening's going pretty good so far. We made a good friend. We actually even exchanged numbers. Like, we want to keep in touch with each other later on because of this. This is a really strange and weird coincidence. So, and the fish was actually really good too. Like, I actually asked her for the recipe. Both of us wanted that recipe. We're not big fish eaters, but we definitely had to get that recipe. So things were going good, and the sun was starting to set. We were just kind of sitting there talking, and things were kind of winding down a little bit. And so then my wife had to go use the restroom, so she gets up and walks away to use the restroom. And it's just me and her sitting there having casual conversation. And then all of a sudden, I get hit in the face with a rice cake. Those crunchy rice cake circles, like Quaker makes them, different brands make them. I get hit in the face with a rice cake. So both of us turn around. There are more rice cakes flying towards us. We kind of duck out of the way trying to dodge them. And there's this other big Samoan dude throwing rice cakes at us. And he comes down there yelling and screaming. And he says, "Why are you cheating on me?" And he's just really angry, but I'm like, whoa, hold on. I'm not cheating on her. And he is about ready to tackle me when my wife comes running from the bathroom and she's like, "Hey, honey, what's going on? Whoa." And then when he sees her, then he kind of calms down a bit and he's like, "I'm sorry. I was a little bit worried that my wife here might cheat on me. I just had some weird suspicions and maybe some bad dreams contributed to this." And she's like, yeah, why would you think that I would do sort of thing like that? I'm sorry, honey. I didn't mean, remember when I said before that I would throw whatever I had on me at you and whoever if they caught you cheating? Sorry for doing that. Thankfully, it wasn't anything dangerous, though. So, he apologized, and, we found out that he was just a little bit worried about some of the things that he had read online, and just a little bit unsettled, having a little bit of a hard time. But things worked out good. He got some fish. It was great. And, we became, made friends with him, too, and it was nice. And, that was pretty much the big highlight of our trip. The islands were nice. We flew back out to Texas and just got ready for the rest of our lives and, the rest of our future. All right, the end. Yeah, that is the end of that story. If I was going to continue it, though, I could easily add a cliffhanger. I forgot. So when we got back home, I wanted to look for a really nice frame to put my pajamas in, and I found this nice frame at a thrift shop. I wasn't even going there for the frame. I was just looking to see if they had any clothes my size. I do like getting things cheap, and I found this really nice frame that was big and could fit my pajamas. So I put them in there, and we hung it up on the wall just inside of our front door. So it's a really nice conversational piece, especially when people come by and ask. I kind of like to tell this story. And actually, funny thing is, now, usually, you get somebody selling something at your door, and you're not interested, no thanks. Sometimes, but they kind of ask questions to keep you there as long as possible. Well, it's usually like, hey, I'm selling this amazing product. Would you like to, what are those pajamas doing there? And so then I end up keeping them there for a little bit, And it's a good time, something to talk about. A whole lot of fun. But then, a tornado came by again. And this was several years later, and it was my daughter who left the front door open, and there go my pajamas. Who knows where they'll go. Anyways, thank you guys for listening to this story. That is the end. Let's see. If you want me to actually continue this random piece of silliness, I'm going to need... This video has to get 50 likes, and there has to be at least 10 people in the comments saying, I want part 2. And then I will continue it on. Other than that, that is a little piece of my silly, crazy mind. I'm planning to do other stuff like this. I don't know when. But I do want to do things here and there. Just to kind of share the pureness of my mind that hasn't been refined by the whole process of writing out a script and editing and stuff. Some of that stuff I like to keep, It ends up being a little more serious. And I am kind of sort of generally a more serious... I look like one of my friends. I am kind of generally a slightly more serious type of person. I do have some silly moments. I do have some strange extreme moments. And even in the strange and extreme moments, I'm thinking of things that I think would actually work, especially with food things. 2 ideas I had recently was a roasted garlic peanut butter filled tater tot. And I thought of that because it just popped in my head and it sounded good to me. You guys might think that sounds disgusting, but personally for me, that would be something that I would try. Something that I would probably eat. I think it would taste good to me. The other idea I had that same day was, lollipops and all the different fruit flavors. But the lollipops are filled with sticky rice, olive oil, salt, and pepper. White rice with olive oil, salt, and pepper is my favorite combination. I think it'd be good inside of a lollipop. Excuse me. But yeah. So thank you guys so much for watching. Again, if you guys want to see part 2 of this video, then there has to be 50 likes and at least 10 people saying I want to see part 2. If you guys did enjoy it, go check out my other stuff. I do a lot more serious things. There's a few other silly things like I mentioned on here. Make sure to subscribe, and I'll see you guys in whatever video is next.